Our next speaker is Mr. Sachin Jain. He's a regional CEO of World Gold Council India. He's going to deliver a special address on reforms and growth of India gold industry contributing to Viksit Bharat 2047, Developed India 2047. Requesting Mr. Sachin Jain, regional CEO of World Gold Council India, to take from here on. Thank you. A round of applause for Mr. Sachin Jain. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to address this August gathering. And the leadership of SBMA, I thank you all for inviting me to speak on this phenomenal platform. And for me personally, this platform is very special. Last year when I started my career at World Gold Council, this was the first platform I was here. And I was here taking all notes through the two and a half days, and so did I yesterday. So thank you. And I think I was reflecting on, Albert, what you said yesterday on the forward or your future planning to 2030, and the fact that this platform is about opening up collaborations, what we can do in the short term to long term. And I think at World Gold Council globally and also in India, we want to be that catalyst for that growth. We want to open up the doors of India, the opportunity, and hence in the next 10-15 minutes, I'll just quickly deep dive as to what's really happening in the country, India, and how perhaps ASEAN could perhaps be ASEAN-I, or maybe a collaborative way, how that can get better. So just quickly on what's happening in India. Last 8 to 9 years, and I'm not getting political at all, we've had a very stable hand behind the steering wheel. We've been progressing well. And while we're talking about a Viksit Bharat, which I'll deep dive on, the fact that the growth opportunity in India is really backed by infrastructure development, is backed by manufacturing impetus, simplification in the country, and a lot of other things. Now, we're a great, largest population in the world, but we are, like Mr. Howe talked about yesterday, that we are, our median age is 29, median age of China is 39, median age of US is perhaps 49, and so on and so forth. So it throws a great opportunity. We are today the 5th largest economy. By 2027, we'll be the 3rd largest economy in the world. We're a complicated country. We have 22 official languages. We have 652 dialects. So it's a pretty complicated opportunity as far as that is concerned. We have 2.5 billion bank accounts. I mean, from a country which was not digitized, a country which was only a sort of cash economy, it's moving very rapidly to a systematic economy. We have 200 million demat accounts. And that, if you look it up to what an ETF opportunity is, it's hugely massive. So within all of this perspective, where does the gold business stand? And gold is a part of a social fabric. It's been around forever and ever. The Indian housewife is considered to be the smartest investor. We have 25,000 tons of gold lying in households. And at a lot of platforms that I go to, small investments keep added up over the years. And that's the chunk of gold lying in our homes. Whether that's getting to put to productive use or not is debatable, but that brings in a sense of what India is and the love for gold. We consume, give or take about 800 tons of gold, and that's been quite agnostic to the price rise over the years. So 800 tons kind of sort of constant over the years. And Mr. Howe, you mentioned about so many things around economic, which I was opened up my mind yesterday, that while the per capita income of this country is $91,000, we are a long way away. But what changes is that, what I showed in the last slide around what is the context of our country. ETF is a very early stage development. It's still very new as a product, and we believe it's at the crust to growth, and I'll talk about that. Interestingly, we employ between 3 to 5 million people, and the government is really taking a lot of cognizance as to what we can do. And in the gold business, when I was here last year, there was a lot of polls happening whether gold will touch $3,000 ever, whether gold will touch $3,000 by end of 2024. And it did. 23rd of April is when gold touched $3,500. In India, the question was, will gold ever touch 100,000 rupees for 10 grams? And it did, 23rd of April. In the next slide, we'll show you the love of gold that Indians have. On the 30th of April, we have a festival called Akshaya Tritiya, which is very auspicious days to buy gold. 7 days after the highest peak of gold price in the world, and that's what happened in the stores. We had stores open until 3 a.m. in the morning. We had queues outside stores. Well, we can always debate that people bought less or more, but that's the crux of how the love for gold exists in our country. And what I want to just use this time on is, as World Gold Council, what are the key focus areas? And the first one, which has been given me a task to share with you what's happening in India. So a respected Prime Minister has laid out a foundation and a destination that India in 2047 will be the third largest economy for sure, but will be a $30 trillion economy. Just mind you, today we are $4.8 trillion, which essentially means that 5 new Indias are envisaged to be added upon what will happen in the next 22 years in our country. And what we did was that we deep dive on this whole mission of India. We went back to the government and a planning commission to saying, what's the role of gold in 2047? If India will grow that much, we have two options. One is, let the river keep flowing and we'll go along with it. Our boat could go left, right, and we get somewhere. Or the other aspect is, can we do a little planned activity, work with the government, futurists, some thinkers to saying, what's the critical roadmap that gold industry needs to take so that there's meaningful contribution right to the society, to the economy, and to individuals and industries around it. And hence our project Swarnim Udan, which essentially means a golden flight 2047, where we want to have an aligned view. And these are the 12, 13 pillars by which government is building the 2047 vision. We are working with them now. And this is the, intent is not to bore you with this complicated slide, but a lens model where we picked up certain trends that we see are going to go down, certain trends that are going to go up, and how we can manifest what the future will hold like. And what we're doing is, these are the 5 areas which we believe will have a clear roadmap, exactly what's going to happen to the consumer, what's going to happen to the government and their role, completely laid out, what's going to happen in the investor community, development of IFBX, more things that will be coming our way, what will happen in the jewelry chains and the jewelry sort of whole value chain. And lastly, we also believe that there is a potential of mining gold in our country, and we get kickstarting that process. Today, for the 800 plus tons that we consume, we only mine 2 tons, so it's almost insignificant. But we are now working with the government to change the laws of the rule of the game, and how this can change to really, our belief is that over the next decade, about 15 to 18% of our consumption could be coming from our own gold. That's again a manifestation. But the intent is to have a clear roadmap of 2047 and work backward as to what the industry, the government needs to do by 2040, 2035, 2030, and what we need to get started today. So that's one of our very important focus areas. I love to work with all of you, and through the SBMA, sort of look at any opportunities that we can work together. And I, want you all to be part of this opportunity that India throws up. The second project that we have is what we call Project Highway. Now, if you see, all of these pictures have 2 pictures here. One is how, as a jewelry industry, and jewelry we consume heavily, about 650 tons of jewelry, fresh gold gets added up, and about 30% is recycled. Now, we as an industry talk to the consumer in a slightly more traditional manner, whereas where the consumer is moving, is slightly more modernistic, contemporary manner. The occasions are changing, the value systems are changing, and we need to talk to the industry together. So hence, under this project, we're coming out with a unique sort of tagline. So for example, if you might know that in the diamond business, the anchoring line that gets the consumers together is a diamond is forever. And we don't have an anchoring line in the gold market. This is something that we've developed, and we'll be encouraging, of course, we'll be putting our investments to promote that tagline for the consumers, but we'll encourage the industry to come along. We launched this end of July, and a common theme for the consumer. We're also creating a lot of visual merchandising to make more contemporary interactions with the consumers on retail. We're looking at uplifting the sales ambassadors in India, because today, typically who have gone to a jewelry store in India, we still sell it as a complete commodity. So you walk in, a consumer in India doesn't blink an eye to buy a Louis Vuitton bag. But when she walks into the jewelry store, the first question is, how much is the gold, what's the making charge, and that's the end of the story. And we need to change that. We're doing right now trials in Mumbai City, and in August we go live all India around training the sales ambassadors on the floor. And lastly, we're building a bunch of technologies which are right now getting tried in Mumbai City. We have that implied about 30 stores. We're learning a lot on the floor, and it's really fun technology. We want consumers to enjoy gold, fall in love with gold, and that's the impetus. And we're working, and the intent is that the younger India, which I said is today the median age is 29, so we need to build the gold market for the future and get them to really aspire to buy gold and fall in love with gold. Our third project is a focus on ETFs, and as I said, ETF is a great product, but it's at the crux to grow. There's a mention made in the first presentation on the gold bonds in the Indian market. You mentioned about the sovereign gold bonds, which is a phenomenal product by the government of India, but they've shut that now. And we believe that about 150 tons of gold investment has an opportunity to come into the gold market via perhaps ETFs. So we did some campaigns, and what we triggered is, one, again, the awareness, which was very low in India, but also what our basic campaign did was to trigger the participants to do their own campaigns. And we believe that we will be about 100 tons by end of the year. That's, again, our manifestation. We launched the first self-regulatory organization in the gold value chain. And while there's industry, there is the regulator and government, but the code of conduct, the basic way of how you can get ready for a futuristic way of working was missing. So we launched this out. We will be inviting participants in end of July. That goes live into the market. Independent organization for the industry, by the industry, and we at Gold Council on the RGIP principles that have been laid out over the last few years. This becomes real, and we believe that issues around trust deficit, issues around confidence in industry could perhaps be minimized. So that's the other one. There's another one that we picked up, and we thought that this is our responsibility. The fact is that handmade artisans do a great job in India, but the working conditions are not the most best that we all can stand up on a stage and feel proud about. There are issues there, so we accept that, and it collaborates quite well with what David yesterday was talking about, the artisanal gold mining principles. And we don't have mining in India, but we have a lot of working force in India, and the intent is to uplift their working conditions and be proud that they work in an industry called gold, and let their children be proud about where they work. That's a very important project getting started. We want to make real difference in the lives of artisans who are working in our industry, and get the whole industry sort of get ready for this vulnerability. And lastly, we are getting into the government of India is setting up an innovation center outside of Mumbai city. Companies like Apple, Google, a lot of big organizations are laying out their first innovation centers there. We've been working with the government, and we've been invited to now set up the first gold innovation center in India outside of Mumbai city. And the intent is not an innovation center to innovate jewelry design. It's a value chain of gold right across from mining to the end consumer, and we lay down to bring out innovation, investments, startup conversations. But the intent is that this will be the first of its kind of an innovation center of gold across the world. So these are just some insights, and again, we at World Gold Council want to be that catalyst of growth. We want to work with SBMA, the opportunities that you all think, and I'll welcome you all to our market. And before I leave, I'd like to show you a short video of the opportunity that I just encapsulated. Can I please have the video?
There's a rhythm to India that the world is beginning to hear. Louder, prouder, clearer than ever before. It's in the beating heart of the 1.4 billion strong population, in the energy of our people, and in the resilience of a nation that turns every challenge into opportunity. Today, India stands tall, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Powered by purpose, driven by dreams, and deeply rooted in culture. And at the very heart of this culture lies gold. In India, gold is more than a purchase, it's a belief. And even when prices soar, belief doesn't waver. Because belief in gold is more than just value, it's emotion, security, celebration, and trust. From bustling metros to quiet villages, from heirloom bangles to digital gold, to gold ETFs. India's relationship with gold is ever evolving, but never fading. The numbers speak for themselves. 1/4 of global gold consumption is from India. We are an integral part of the gold industry, and we are driving it. With visionary reforms like mandatory hallmarking with unique HUID, International Bullion Exchange, digital gold, and SRO, India's leading from the front. We are enhancing our awareness and visibility, strengthening engagement with key stakeholders like the government and policymakers, positively influencing gold policies, which is driving the narrative and reforms of the gold industry. With bold initiatives such as Swarnim Udan 2047, Project Highway, ETF at 100, artisans empowerment and embracing newer technologies. We are drawing in new investors, connecting with younger consumers, paving the way for a smarter, more sustainable gold market. India is a growing market and a force, accelerating global growth, and gold is a catalyst, driving trust, transformation and timeless value. We know the world is watching, and India is paving the golden path to global growth.
So with that, I just want to welcome you all to India. I mean, we need to work perhaps more closer. And as I said, Albert, your long-term vision, I think it fits in perfectly well with what we at World Gold Council can help enable being a catalyst. So thank you all, and please look at India as a great opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sachin Jain, for a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.